Today I'm going to show you how to create a distorted electric guitar with the Bassline. And then at the end we're going to make a quick beat with it. So we're going to do a beatbox, we're going to do the Bassline, and then a saw synth. So we're going to totally focus on the Bassline. So right off the bat, I'm just going to show you, kind of go along as explain things as I'm going. We don't need to touch the pulse width because this is only active when the waveform is set to a square wave. We don't need to detune this any, but we are going to take, so right, these two things, the cutoff and the resonance, these are the filters for the Bassline. We're going to take it and bring it all the way to the right. I'm going to explain why we're bringing it to the right when we get to the LFO. So the cutoff is pretty much a low pass filter, and it's going all the way to the right, brings in all the frequencies, all the way to the left, brings in only the lower frequencies. The resonance basically adds a small band of frequencies onto whatever the cutoff is set to. The envelope modulation, this is just an envelope mod, so this controls the cutoff filters, and we don't need to mess with this, so we were going to bring that all the way down so we don't have the modulation to this. The decay, it decays the note, and there's such a small difference in this to what settings I'm going to do, so it doesn't really matter whether you have it kind of all the way up or all the way down, but it does make a small difference. So I'm going to take it about center. What we're going to do is going to bring the volume, because with this high distortion, it's going to just crank the levels to just ridiculous amounts, and it's going to be incredibly loud. So I'm going to barely even have this on. So right here is the LFO, stands for low frequency oscillation, and it's used low frequencies underneath the audible hearing of a human, which is 20 hertz and below, and it uses this, since we can't hear it, it's used to control signals in audio. So we're not going to bring this, the target isn't going to be the pulse width modulation or the voltage control amplification, because that's going to control the volume. We want to control the filter, so that's voltage control filter, and these are going to control this. So the rate is just the speed at which this is going to oscillate. The depth, we're going to bring this all the way to the right, and what the depth is, so say if I had this in the center, when I'm hitting the notes, the filter is internally is going to be going like this, all the way to the middle. But since I have the cutoff all the way to the right and the depth all the way up, it's going to go like this. So the phase, it just takes the signal and puts it off phase. It probably slides it to the right slightly, just it takes it off the phase of the signals. So there's hardly a difference kind of in there, but you could turn this down or up. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. So here's the distortion. So this is what it kind of sounds like right now. Kind of like a wimpy, almost like a children's toy kind of guitar. But this is where the big boys come in with the distortion. So it's not going to be overdrive, it's not going to be saturation or feedback. We're going to do it to fuzz. So I think that what the fuzz does is, I have a tutorial on distortion. I believe it creates almost like a perfect square, what the fuzz does. I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but in the tutorial I show you through the oscillator what it looks like, what the signal looks like. So we're going to take the pre all the way up and the amount all the way up, and the post is going to be about halfway up. So here we go. Extremely loud. So what I'm going to do is take the Bassline and just bring the volume down on it, and we're going to take the reverb up a bit. And what I did already was bring the room size down a little bit, and then I added a low pass filter. So what I did was, just take the filter and then go to low pass and just bring the frequency all the way over there, and that's going to take some of the highs out of it, the real high highs. So here is the Bassline again. I still think that's a bit much for the reverb. Yeah, that's probably good. So that's the notes that we're going to be using. I'm going to create a quick beat with the beatbox real quick. So I'm going to go to my 80s one, and if you have my one of my sound packs, this kit is in it. I don't know if it's number 1 or number 2. So we're going to use kick, snare, hat, and this cymbal. So let's do this. 4 on the floor, snare. These 2 hats are going to be here, but we're going to mess with the, no, I want this one. So I'm going to take this to about right here. I want it real light gray, and we're going to just leave this at 75% velocity. Now I'm going to select this, and edit, copy, paste, paste, paste. Cool. Now we're going to add a cymbal right there and there. The hats are a bit harsh. Let's take the decay down on the hats. A lot easier on the ears. The cymbal's a bit loud. Yeah, it sounds okay. So now we are going to fine-tune the saw synth. And we're going to use that for the bass line. So I don't want... that note's holding on, so we don't want the release on it. I don't want this to decay into anything, so I'm going to bring the sustain all the way up. Hence, now the decay doesn't work, so it doesn't matter where we put this. See, it's the same. We want the attack to be right away. Let's bring the cutoff down on here and bring this to a low pass. Let's see, probably bring the res. Actually, I want deeper. Excellent. Probably bring the mix down though, tiny bit. Maybe bring it a little, make it a little bit wider. Sounds pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to start adding the notes in, and I'm probably going to fast forward through this because this is kind of tedious, but you'll be able to hear what it sounds like with the guitar and all the settings when it's done. All right, I also added some toms. And this is the final outcome of the song. Here's another song that I used it for, and it sounds like this. So I'm going to let you listen just a tiny bit, and then we could solo this. So let's just solo this. Let's bring it back here and then solo it, so you can kind of get a feel for what it sounds like. So let's just solo it. That's more like a guitar. So anyways, you guys can do whatever you guys want with this, and hopefully you guys will make some good music. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.